Are we running a mercenary force here that we don't know about? If you look at our constitution, the National Police Service Act, there's nowhere in those legislation that we are setting up a police service that is a mercenary force to be deployed to other countries at a fee. That's a very stupid argument.
Hello, a very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candy Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Such a pleasure to have you on board on Kenya's most comprehensive political and public governance on this platform. Remember, our team is on the ground and our eyes are scattered everywhere. We want to make sure that we bring you up to date with comprehensive analysis of all that is taking place in this country and across our borders. Here we are with Wakili Willis Otieno. Wakili, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
We are here in this country still monitoring and looking at every step that the government is making, and we actually want to make our viewers understand this. Now, of course, the Haiti case is still here and is still scaring us. The government is saying that look, here we are going ahead with this project. We are expecting a batch of at least 200 police officers from this country to go to the Haiti, the war-torn country, therein to go and help restore some sort of law and order in that particular country. Dr. Ikuru of court has said he is going back to court to stop that. And at the same time, he's also petitioned the United Nations, and he's saying that this is not actually right. Our president is saying it right. Here we are. I have seen the deputy spokesperson of the government say that we are not doing this for free, that there is something that we are gaining from this particular mission, and this will actually help in developing our country. Now, let us have it here. The last time we had this conversation, of course, the court had said that that procedure, that process, everything that was null and void, and our police officers should not have been deployed to that particular country. Things have changed, and the government has decided to go ahead with this particular project. What do you make of the government's idea and decision on this?
You know, it is a foolhardy exercise. That's a fool's exercise. Let them continue as they so desire, but barbecue is waiting for them. They should not expect Haiti to be business as usual. The kind of environment the policemen are going to encounter is something they've never lived before. Haiti, they are cannibals.
Okay.
Some of those gangs are cannibals. They're cannibalistic. They'll massacre you and feed on your flesh. Our policemen have never seen anything like that. But if they so wish to go, and they are sent to the government's quest to send them, good luck. Maybe they deserve it. Can only pray for them that they come back safe. But all explanations, all reasons why Kenya should deploy its forces or police to Haiti do not make sense.
Okay.
Because for the simple reason, number one, we have no strategic interest in Haiti. Number two, of what strategic import is it for us to deploy in Haiti? Of what benefit is it to the people of Kenya? Of what need is it that you must leave the United States of America, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, and you come all the way, more than 15,000 kilometers away, to a small country called Kenya to go and set up a force, a police service in Haiti? That makes sense. There are so many other islands which neighbor Haiti. And those islands and the South American countries, and even the US and Mexico, their security personnel are better equipped, and they have been through almost similar criminal gangs. Their policing has experienced. Our kind of policing here, we've never had the kind of criminal gangs that are found in that part of the world. We don't have that experience. There's language barrier. We don't speak their language. There's a culture difference. They are not of the same culture as us, orientation as us. But if they so wish, good luck.
Okay.
Let them continue. But the consequences will be dire. The only person going to benefit is maybe there is a private agreement that somebody has with some individuals in Haiti that is going to benefit him as an individual, but using our sovereign forces to achieve that private enterprise. But there is no explanation on the table that the government of Kenya has given that warrants. If you are even prudent, you'll have asked yourself, when they were signing this so-called bilateral agreement with the Haitian Prime Minister, that gentleman left Kenya, has never set foot in Haiti again. Because barbecue was waiting for him. And they told him he lands, he didn't see fire. He took off, never landed in Haiti. The last we heard of him, he was somewhere between Dubai and the Dominican Republic. We don't know where he is today. That is the country you want to deploy your forces? Do you know what is going to welcome them at the airport? They are still trying to negotiate a transitional leadership. They have not even agreed on the leader of that country. And you want our people to go there? Good luck. That's all we can say.
Here we are, but Wakili, this also begs a lot of questions. One, there are very pertinent legal concerns that were actually raised by the court when it actually annulled this kind of decision by the government to deploy our police officers therein. Kenyans are still asking here, do you think that perhaps the government has actually tackled, rather addressed the legal issues that were raised in that particular ruling?
One attempt to address that issue to raise the ruling was the issue of having an agreement. We must have a reciprocal agreement between Kenya and the state. And Ruto, in his wisdom or lack of it, invited the then Haitian Prime Minister to Kenya to sign the reciprocal agreement.
Yes.
It was signed in Nairobi. That's the agreement I'm telling you. The person who signed it has never landed back in Haiti since signing it. In fact, his last mission out of Haiti was to come to Kenya to sign that agreement. The moment he signed it, Barbecue and his crew announced that he will never land in that Haiti. He's never landed in that Haiti. He disappeared. So we should be sitting back and asking, even what is the legal impact of that reciprocal agreement? Had it been ratified by the Haitian parliament, for example? Even our own Kenyan government parliament, because a reciprocal agreement of that nature will fall under what is called a treaty. And under Article 2 of our Constitution, and the Ratification of Treaties Act, that agreement needs to be taken to Parliament for ratification before it becomes binding on Kenya. That has not been done. So there's been an attempt to go through the legal process, both in Kenya and in Haiti. But that legal process to give legitimacy to that deployment, to give legal cover to that deployment, has not been met. So I'll say any deployment that is being done now, it has got nothing to do with our laws. It has got nothing to do with our sovereignty. It has got nothing to do with our strategic interest as a country. It is everything to do with a private enterprise or pursuit of an individual under the guise of providing security services to Asians. It doesn't. But the sweetness of a pudding is in the eating. Let them go. That's all we can say. Let them go. The consequences will be dire.
So you're actually telling the government to go ahead and experiment with the lives of 200 police officers?
Because it seems all the reasonable arguments we've made have not made sense to them. They want to go and find out for themselves. Then let them go and find out. Maybe we are just making noise here, and it's going to be a very successful mission. But all signs are showing this is a death mission. And even those police officers who offered themselves to go to Haiti, fine. You go and find out. We'll be the experiment to others to follow. People will learn from your experience how to do things rightly. Maybe they are going to be successful. Maybe we are the ones who are wrong. Let them go and prove us wrong. And we will learn from them. They'll come back and teach us how these things should be done. If they fail, we'll also learn a lesson. Whichever way, there'll be lessons learned from this deployment. Lessons to listen to your people, lessons to be pragmatic before you rush into something, or lessons on how to successfully police a country that you don't have a cultural relation to, you don't speak their language, a country that is marooned by criminal gangs. Maybe Kenya now has the best way and the best approach to deal with it. Then we can be deploying our police to all the hot spots in the world.
The government deputy spokesperson, of course, Mwanaisha Chizuga, here is saying that we've been called to this particular peace mission and it is not free. Do you think that this actually best serves our interests, or rather, do we have some sort of misplaced interest as a country? Because when it's not free, she's saying here that we are going to receive something from that particular mission, and that would surface in growing our country.
And the question I ask, are we now a mercenary state? Are we mercenaries? That now you have to deploy your policemen or army to be paid. Are we running a mercenary force here that we don't know about? If you look at our constitution, the National Police Service Act, there's nowhere in those legislation that we are setting up a police service that is a mercenary force to be deployed to other countries at a fee. That's a very stupid argument. Because then now we are moving away from what our laws provide in terms of policing. If the Haitians want a mercenary force, there are so many mercenaries all over the world. They can even go and look in Russia. They have that Wagner group. There's a mercenary force, they can deploy it there. Why come to poor Kenyans? So have we joined the group of that our police force is now also a mercenary force that we can deploy across the world to provide policing and security services? That argument cannot fly. In fact, it should not even be made. It's actually an aberration. It's abhorrent of her to say that we are going to be paid. The Republic of Kenya is not a mercenary force in any mission that it engages in. And the motivation to be paid, or the desire to be paid, should never be a motivation for that republic to engage in any international intervention. We should never pursue that. We should never allow that. That should never inform any decision making when it comes to the use of our resources, and more so, deployment of poor Kenyans to missions abroad. It should be a call to serve. And if your call to serve is to Haiti, you must come up with very tangible explanations why those other Pacific islands cannot respond. Because they're the ones even convening right now the meetings to come up with a transitional government for the Republic. Why not the United States of America, that is their neighbor? Why not Mexico? Why not South America giants, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Paraguay? There are many. Why not El Salvador? They have the best experience with dealing with criminal gangs. In fact, a successful experience. And they even speak their similar language. Why come all the way to Kenya, 15,000 kilometers away? We don't speak their language, we don't share their culture, we don't have experience with dealing with such criminal gangs. Why? But she's let the cat out of the bag. There is a monetary motivation for this engagement. And we are simply saying, tough luck. Go and make your money, but you've exposed our people to massacre.
Okay.
And that is going to have dire consequences, even on the morale of our officers. If even one single officer is to die in this mission, they are going to become a target from those marauding gangs. And those gangs are not gangs as we know them. They are not your mungikis of this world, working with machetes. Those gangs have superior weaponry. Some of them even have tankers. They have RPG. Yeah? They have serious assault rifles. And you see them walking around the streets. They've overrun, they've took over an airport. They've taken over police stations in Haiti. They have armored personnel carriers. And then you're just sending our policemen casually. Or are they going for a secret mission to provide private security services to individuals in Haiti who may be engaged in acts of mining in that country? Maybe. Maybe they're not even going to deal with the citizens of Haiti. Maybe they're being deployed to provide private security services to individuals.
If the president is aware of all this, why do you think he is hell-bent on making sure that this mission goes
And that's why I've told you,
successfully?
there must be another intention that we don't know of. Because the ones that, what we are looking at and our analysis, there is no reason why Kenya should be hell-bent on deploying to Haiti. But maybe there's another motivation that we can't see. And as Madam Chizuga says, maybe there are some dollars which have been paid to somebody for this mission to go on. So they're just looking at the dollars and not the risks and the laws which will inform any deployment of our officers.
Okay.
Tough luck. That's all I say. And we'll see.
Okay. What do you think the courts are likely to say, or what do you think are the likely outcome of the recent suit by Third Way Alliance Party, Kuru au court, Dr. Therefore?
I mean, the courts have a duty to uphold our laws.
So if at all we are supposed to strictly
If
go
we
with the law.
stick to our laws, then the courts have a duty to uphold the laws. But if they also want to become part of the MAC, they are free to do it.
Okay.
And they'll be judged accordingly. When the consequence of that ill-fated mission become clear to all of us.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's wait and see whether the first, of course, batch of our police officers will be flown to the war-torn Haiti country. Of course, they are in that particular region, and we are still waiting to see whatever outcome would be of the court cases that have been actually put against their deployment there. And we are also looking to see whether their deployment would actually surface in terms of helping us as a country maybe. And we are also waiting to see the kind of gain that this country may have, because our president says that we have a duty as well to help restore peace in that particular country. Tell us what you think about this conversation. Of course, we'll be more than glad to go through your comments. Allow me to stop this conversation at this particular moment. But if you're watching us for the first time, kindly subscribe to our channel here and stay tuned to some of our programs that will be coming up next. My name is Evan Sokenyi. Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day.